it's me. It's that GJ. What happened? I was gonna do an intro and I'm trying to install something else. Pain in the nose. As long as it doesn't restart, I'll be it's fine. Anyway, what's up? What's up, everybody? Had Double or Nothing last night. Double or Nothing 2. Triple or Nothing. So yeah. Lots of good stuff going on. If you hear the sound of my air conditioner, that's so I don't freaking die. There we go. Make it a little bit darker on me. So what's going on? I know I'm a little late today. It's fine. I wasn't home right at 3, so that's, if you follow me on Twitter, you knew the deal. But still, it's good. What is going on in the world of wrestling? So much. Like I said, Double or Nothing was last night for AEW. I guess I could provide spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. But that's really up to you, because I'm sure I'll get, what did you think of Double or Nothing last night? Double or Nothing was a good show. It's amazing to me how a company so young understands that if somebody is put in a situation where, you know, they either have to win or you make them look weak, and it's like somehow they made nobody look incredibly weak last night. I wish WWE would take note, and that's what happens when you don't 50-50 book. When you 50-50 book, nobody is special. And this has been a rant for the IWC, I guess, for many, many years. That's 50-50 booking is a problem because nobody gets the chance to be a star. And it's just absurd. Just truly, truly absurd. 50-50 booking thing, but fortunately AEW doesn't suffer from that. Hopefully we'll be able to see Cody do some good stuffs with the TNT Championship, or as JR called it, the TNA Championship. But here's hoping that WWE takes notice and be like, hey, you know, maybe we need to book our guys stronger instead of just plodding along. Be like, oh, they'll watch WWE because it's WWE. That's not really the case anymore. It might have been the case when they were the only game in town, but not the only game in town anymore. AEW is picking up steam, which is good. It'll help business in general. So what else is going on? It's really hot today. Really, which I'm glad about, considering 2 weeks ago it was snowing and now it's 80 degrees because Pennsylvania. But yeah, we got some good stuff. Hopefully, I don't know if we'll be able to top last week's stream. I think I had, like, at last count 13 or 14 spins, which was insane. Appreciate them all. I'm surprised I didn't give away a t-shirt last week, but let's see if we can beat that this week. Can we beat that this week? That's the hope. Yeah, we do need more people in here, Curtis. I agree. Ken, can you all see my typing? I can see it. Mike Gonzalez, most underrated Shawn Michaels match. Underrated. Wow. Ken says Shawn versus Rick Martel from SummerSlam 92. That's a good one. Trying to think of a match that I thought was really good that people are like sleeping on. I can't really say enough about Shawn Michaels and Triple H from a December 2003 Raw for the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't think that one gets enough love, quite frankly. And just the reaction in San Antonio of people thinking Shawn won the championship, which he probably should have. But it was just an amazing moment, especially because it looked like Eric Bischoff was the one to count the fall. He did count the fall, but both men's shoulders were down. Curtis said, is Shawn versus Shelton underrated? It probably is underrated because that was one of the best matches Raw has ever had. I think Shelton Benjamin's underrated to begin with. So the fact that the two of them went out on the May 2nd, 2005 edition of Raw and just tore the freaking house down. And of course the super kick heard round the world. It's such a great match. The fact that Shelton never made it above mid-card is a crime. It really is. Cool Brothers Radio Podcast asks, who are you more worried about, the Browns or the Ravens? I'm never worried about the Browns. Unless they're swinging helmets. I mean, the Ravens have really been, I don't want to say the class of the division, but they've been doing well in the AFC North the last couple of years. I think it's just a matter of time where the Steelers' offense needs to wake up. The loss of Ben Roethlisberger hurt more than anybody likes to admit. Because there are a lot of people who are down about Ben. It's like, oh, he doesn't have it anymore. He's getting old, blah, 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 blah. First of all, he's taken the team to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 of them. And 2 years ago, had one of the highest, if not the highest, number of passing yards in all of the NFL. So don't give me this crap that Roethlisberger's washed up. I don't buy that for a second. All these people with all these quote-unquote hot takes about, oh, Big Ben's washed up, Big Ben doesn't have this, Big Ben doesn't have that, he won't be anything when he returns from his injury, blah, 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 blah. It's like, do you watch Steelers football? Like, ever? Do you watch Steelers football, or do you just like to take a dump on Pittsburgh? Really? It's so frustrating. It's like, give people a chance. It's like when people were talking all this crap about Chase Claypool. It's like, oh, why did the Steelers pick a wide receiver in the second round? Oh, Claypool isn't that good. Did you watch Notre Dame football? Did you see? Chase Claypool was far and away the #1 receiver at Notre Dame. And they had a talented wide receiver core. It's not like the others were not that great. It's just Chase Claypool was the class of Notre Dame wide receiver core for the last couple of years. And people don't like the decision. You got to give Juju somebody else. And Claypool's the kind of guy who could probably overtake Juju. I don't understand all of these armchair quarterbacks, armchair coaches, whatever the case may be, thinking that these are terrible decisions. It's like, either you don't watch football or you think that the needs that we... You have to realize, the Steelers' offense was among the lowest in all the NFL last year. And yes, a lot of that had to do with Roethlisberger. And the fact that Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges prove why they're backup quarterbacks and not true starters. But you need offensive weapons. Juju Smith-Schuster, yes, is a weapon when he's able to be used correctly. But if you don't have anybody to support him, then he's not going to be that effective because everybody's got to put all their stuff on Juju, leave the guys open that aren't really reliable, and you're kind of screwed. And you don't have much of a running game because James Conner's hurt half the year. So there's my football rant of the day, and hopefully we have football to talk about come August, September timeframe. There you go. Where do you think the Steelers finish in the standings? I'm always optimistic. I like to say the Steelers finish first in the AFC North. And And I don't think the new playoff format hits until next year. So I'm thinking perhaps the Steelers hit 3rd or 4th seed. But the AFC no longer has to worry about Tom Brady on their side. So it's going to be a very interesting year of football. And the Patriots may not be the class of the AFC anymore. Which, thank God. Thank you. No. Curtis Butler says, yeah, Notre Dame. Claypool will start with Juju. However, with the exception of the Bengals, every team in your division improved. The AFC North, regardless of how the teams finish, the AFC North, and I will say this until I die, the AFC North is the most competitive division in the NFL. It is the most physical division in the NFL. And you can have your, like, Cowboys and Eagles. You can have your friggin', well, not anymore, Patriots and Dolphins. Because the Dolphins actually, for some reason, have the Patriots number. It's weird. But, and you can take your 49ers and Seahawks. But AFC North, baby. AFC North, you are guaranteed a physical and, quite frankly, emotional game anytime there's an interdivision rivalry happening on the schedule. That's just the way it is. Four division winners and 3 wild cards. See, I didn't think that started till next year. I thought that was next year. They're doing the 17 this year? Okay. I could have sworn that was started. Going back a little bit in the chat. Hey, Champ, I mentioned you to Jeff on the review episode. Did you watch the recap? I did not. I was not able to watch the review on time, so I did not see that yet. So let me know what you said. Jermaine Presley, not as low as my Eagles offense. At least the Steelers had a wide receiver. We only had 2 tight ends and a journeyman wide receiver. We had nobody. Which is a shame because the Eagles were Super Bowl champions not that long ago. What was it, 2 years ago they won the Super Bowl? 2? 3, maybe? 3 years ago they won the Super Bowl? I mean, come on, guys. Like how do you... First of all, I don't exactly agree with the decision to cut Nick Foles because, you know, you're Super Bowl MVP and then you get rid of him. It's like, what? You're really going to go all in on Carson Wentz, who was hurt, but you're going to cut the guy who actually won you your first ring ever? I don't know. I'm not big on Philly sports, but I did root for the Eagles against the Patriots in that Super Bowl, but that's a whole other thing. Niners Seahawks came down to last play in the 16th game. That was brutal to watch. I'm sure. Jermaine says, I'll give you credit. You're a cool guy in that you're very knowledgeable about wrestling, but this season coming up, Eagles versus Steelers, we're going to have to be enemies that weekend. Hey, I understand it. I'm actually somehow friends with a Bengals fan on Facebook, and we just as well jab when the 2 times that the Steelers and the Bengals play, we're like, hey, today the Steelers and the Bengals play, so for today, fuck you. And it's just, you know, those constant jabs. Of course, the Steelers, even as terrible as they were offensively last year, wiped the floor with the Bengals. So, there you go. Curtis Butler says, my division, AFC West, was the most competitive, along with the NFC West last season. I'm not saying the other divisions aren't competitive. I just know that watching Steelers, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Steelers, Bengals games over the years, they are always hard-hitting and always... The emotions are just on another level. That's just the way I see it. Ken with a $5 super chat says, I told Meacham that you and him are the only ones who remember Gary Hart, Jim Powers, and Iron Mike Sharp. I could be wrong about Gary. I remember Jimmy Powers. Watching some old Survivor Series matches. I remember Jimmy Powers. Cody says, Packers are the best team. Go, Pack, go. I mean, there's an NFC team right there for you. I mean, Packers and Bears, another big rivalry, of course, as far as the NFL goes. Did you see Double or Nothing? I caught some of it. I did not actually purchase the pay-per-view because, unemployment. But I did catch some of the highlights. And from what I saw, I was entertained. I really want to go back and watch the casino ladder match. Just because I saw a little bit about Orange Cassidy. I was like, I just want to go check that out. Gotta go check it out. Curtis says, I know Cowboys fans. It's hard to admit, Yeah, well, Jeff is a Cowboys fan for some reason. And his team hasn't done anything since they won Super Bowl 30, 20-some years ago. Which was against my Steelers, which, knife right in the heart, but, hey. CC Drink, I start to like football. You like the 49ers? Okay, well, the 49ers made the Super Bowl last year, of course, against the Chiefs. So, I mean, the 49ers have been doing really well, especially with, who's the quarterback? He left New England. Crap, I can't think of his name. All-American Wrestling Show says, rest in peace, Shad, of course. We all know that news, that Shad passed away because of a riptide on a California beach. Last thing he said was to save his son, and his son got saved, so, hope you're doing well in heaven, Shad. That's a very admirable quality. Very admirable. And he's definitely going to be missed. I saw nothing but positive messages about Shad this past week. And it's sad what happened to him, but he went out like any hero would want to go out. Saving the people they loved. Cody says Steelers stink, Ravens are way better. Okay. You only got 2 rings, so just chill out. And yes, I know you have only been around since '96, but whatever. Jimmy Garoppolo, that's who it is. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo, he did well, though. I mean, the 49ers were up by a good 10 points in that Super Bowl, and then subsequently blew the lead, but I mean, the 49ers, I don't want the 49ers to win either, just because it's like, the Patriots already have 6. It's like, I don't need anybody else tied with the Steelers with 6. It's like, let the Steelers get to 7 before somebody else gets to 6, okay? But there you go. Didn't expect so much football talk on this, especially with it being May, but I love talking about football, so there you go. Ken says that dude needs a Warrior Award. Yeah, I would like to see, if they do the Warrior Award this year, that it goes to Shad, and maybe like his family, or probably his family. I don't know how much sense it would make if JTG accepted it, but maybe he could be the one to like present the Warrior Award. I know it's like typically a Data Warrior thing, but something like that, I think, would be pretty cool. Ken says this football chat is awesome. You guys get to have Cherry rant like a month. Hey, I love my football. I'm passionate about it. If it's not professional wrestling, it's going to be football. As far as the things that I truly care to watch. Football or Double or Nothing, or I mean, here's the thing. TLC last year happened during a game the Steelers were playing. I flip-flopped back and forth, but I was more focused on Steelers football than I was TLC. If a wrestling pay-per-view and football are happening at the same time, chances are I'm going to watch football. Because the lower level pay-per-views don't mean as much to me. Like, if it was Survivor Series, that might be the exception to the rule. But if Steelers football is on, I'm going to watch football over pay-per-view. Ken says, I don't even remember what happened on TLC last year. Kairi Sane got concussed. Bray Wyatt's Mr. Rogers character wrestled. That's all I remember, if we're going to be completely honest. Baseball is better than football. If you're there, here's my thing about baseball. And I like baseball too. I'm a Yankees fan. I wore the hat on the show before. If it is more fun to watch baseball in person than it is at home, which I'm sure is the case with anything, but especially for baseball. The only time it's more exciting, typically at home, is if your team makes the playoffs. You really have to have a team in baseball, I think, to be able to enjoy it. Because nobody just sits around and is like, oh, I'll just turn on the baseball game for some noise. I feel like you have to have some kind of emotional connection to a baseball game to watch it. Football, it's different. Football, I could watch people play football all day. I don't care whether it's my team's playing, another Division I game happening, or whether it's like high school or like lower level college. I don't care. If there's football on, I want to watch it. I watch the XFL, for crying out loud. I will watch football if it is on my television. Point blank. Cole Brothers Radio Podcast said Yankees fan yuck. I get that a lot. What happened with TJS and no DQ? That is not for me to decide. It's honestly a without like throwing personal information out there, it's hard to explain. That's all I can really say about it because I don't know the full details. I kind of know what's going on, but I'm not going to gossip on here. That's not my place, especially when it doesn't involve me. So. Chris Butler, and our Yankees got cheated out of a World Series appearance in 2017. Yup. The freaking Astros. Jermaine Presley, as an NFL fan, I'm always going to choose Eagles first, but I have to admit, Steelers-Ravens rivalry is awesome. It is the most hard-hitting blue-collar football you're going to see in today's NFL. I mean, it has been for many, many years. Steelers and Ravens has been an incredible rivalry over the last 20 years, really. 25, if you want to go all the way back to when they were first created. But, yeah, it's been an incredible rivalry. I'm amazed how much football talk we've gotten on in the last half hour and barely any wrestling. But I'm not going to complain. If you guys hit my talking points, that's perfectly fine. And of course, you know I will stop in the middle of it to do a little wheel spin. Yeah, all I'll say with the whole TJS thing is that I don't really know what to say about it. Other than it's like a personal issue that they have to deal with. Yeah, it's been brought up so many times on the reviews and stuff. It's like, hey, where's TJS? It's like, if TJS isn't saying anything, then let the issue die. There's no need to cause any sorts of drama. Ken was asking if I remember Gary Hart. Barely. I actually had to look him up to see if I remembered him. I don't really remember him. I wouldn't mind checking out some of his stuff, but I don't recall him offhand. You remember, like, in the late 80s, I was only like 2-3 years old, so I didn't really start watching wrestling till like 92 time frame. Josh Mansfield. So this is my first time on the Great Cherry Street. How does this work? Well, you guys send in questions. Super chats get you spins of the wheel. You can win t-shirts. I can do songs, dance like a fool. Lots of wrestler entrance options if you want them. We just like to have a good time here because the thing I like to do to differentiate from like the review and the prediction shows and all that stuff, which I do this too, but like I like to be a little bit different. We like to have fun on the Great Cherry Stream. We like to entertain. That's what this stream is about, entertainment. And it's not necessarily all about wrestling. It's not all about WWE, despite the description. It's really just me being on the stream, entertaining you guys, which I hope I do. I mean, if I didn't, then you guys wouldn't keep watching week after week. There you go. Cody Fosterling, favorite Steelers player of all time? I always liked Hines Ward. Jerome Bettis was fantastic also, former Notre Dame player as well. As far as defensively, gotta love Troy Polamalu, even though he's from USC. I can forgive it if you do well for the Steelers. No way's perfect. I really, as far as like current Steelers though, I really, really like Minka Fitzpatrick. At some point when I have enough money, I want to get a Fitzpatrick jersey because him defensively was beyond impressive last year. I really enjoyed his addition to the defense, and I hope that with the return of Stephon Tuitt, who, again, another Notre Dame player, I really hope the defense is solid this year and improves even further. I want to see Cool Brothers Radio Podcast. I want to see Greg Cherry and Jeff Meacham take on Aaron Rift and Virtue in a tag team wrestling trivia challenge match. You would call that a squash because Virtue admits he's terrible with wrestling trivia, and the fact that you have Jeff and I teaming together, yeah, that's a no contest. Ken, has Virtue ever been the WTC? Yeah, Virtue was actually on the very first episode of the show to crown the initial Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion. It was Jeff and Virtue was the first match. Let's see. The Undertaker's Druids theme song. Cody Fosterling says, I can beat you in WTC. Message Jeff. See if you can challenge. If you think you can beat me in Wrestling Trivia Challenge, talk to Jeff. We'll get you scheduled. I'm not afraid of a challenge. Ken says WTC would be rough on me because it requires memorization. It took me a long time to remember some guy named Terra Rising. Wonder what ever happened to him. Jermaine says, I have that same problem with lower level pay-per-views when the Eagles are playing in general, especially when they're playing a division rivalry. I have the laptop and TV going at the same time. Like I said, when it comes to like Steelers football and WWE pay-per-views happening at the same time, I'm probably going to sway towards Steelers football, especially when there's potential playoff implications. I'm trying to remember if they were playing the Saints. I don't think it was the Saints. It doesn't sound right. I'm trying to remember who they played last year. They didn't win, but So it was a frustrating night in general. But yeah, I still would prefer football over wrestling, especially when there's a chance for the Steelers to make the playoffs, which there was, and then they decided to take a dump the last 3 games. Jermaine, Josh says, thought would be a good question for WTC. I mean, it might be. I don't know who exactly would know that off the top of their head in 10 seconds. I'm sure it's possible that somebody would. Jermaine says, I'm a huge fan of the 4 major sports. I even watch college basketball and college football. The whole thing is when it's football, every game matters. So, and that's why I like football too, because with baseball, like, you have 162 games. You can lose like 65 of those games and still be one of the top teams in baseball, which is absurd to think about. It's like, you lost 65 games and you're still on top, because very few teams break the 100-win mark. It's obviously possible because it's been done multiple times before, but with football, and especially college football, every single game means the world. One loss in college football can mean the difference between national championship and popular bowl game, but not the national championship. And with the NFL, like, you can typically get away with a loss or 2 or 4 maybe, but not too many more than that. Ken says, I know Paul Ellering. I always have trouble saying Paul Ellering's name. I got it there, but here's what it is. Yeah, he used to be a wrestler, and he even wrestled some matches with the LOD back in the day. Oh, you two don't have Russo and Cornette. Chill out. Alright, so I was going to mention that I had a Teespring store giveaway, which I did mention on Twitter. Unfortunately, before the stream aired, the giveaway ended, and I never got the email of who won, which I don't know how I find that out. But, yeah, Rachel Ellering is beautiful. And she did get released, but she'll be fine. If you got wrestling in your blood, chances are, I say chances are because it's not 100% guarantee, Lacey Von Erich, that you're going to be successful. I kind of want to look to see how to see who won Teespring giveaway. Okay, I won't know till tomorrow. Okay. Did you see episode 3 of The Undertaker's documentary? I have not yet. That is the plan this week. Pending on weather, I'll probably do it after we get done kayaking. I'll probably come home and watch it. I do want to catch up with The Undertaker's documentary. I do have WTC to edit this week, which I'm excited for you guys to find out who my special guest is, who does the voiceovers. Really excited about that. You guys will find out if you follow me on my social media at Great Cherry Brand. Right here. Right here. And also, of course, I'm not ending the stream, obviously. I'm just like getting plugs out of the way. You can also find me on YouTube, right here, youtube.com/GregCherryBrand, for the newest episodes of Wrestling Trivia Challenge. We got 3 up there right now. Episode 4 of the reboot, I guess you can call it. Episode 4 of the reboot is dropping on Friday at 6 o'clock Eastern. You can watch the live premiere. and then on demand shortly after. And of course, buy a shirt, teespring.com/store/Greg Cherry Brand. I got like 30 designs up there now, guys. I got a ton of stuff to choose from. And you like the football talk? Let me show you something. Since this is a shirt that I'm actually getting, this shirt right here, I'm actually getting, and I'm a big football fan, so you can see that. Here we go. It's actually black and gold. It says "Here we go," which is a common Steelers phrase. So I'm getting that one. It should be here in a couple weeks, and I'll likely wear it on streams, especially during football season. I may move my streams to Saturdays as long as my streams don't overlap with Notre Dame football, because that is like must-see viewing for me. Dr. NXT Scorpio in the house. How you doing? How many WWF wrestlers from the 1996 roster used to be in WCW? I'd have to look at the roster. Jeez. I mean, Jermaine Presley, what do you think of Bayley winning over Charlotte this past Friday, and what do you think of the AJ Styles trade? I think Bayley needed to win more than Charlotte did. I mean, Charlotte's been on pretty much every WWE program in the last couple of weeks. So Bayley beating her and continuing her strong run as SmackDown Women's Champion. It wasn't a title match, I know, but continuing her run as a dominant SmackDown Women's Champion is good for the championship, and it's good for her. Bayley is having a phenomenal run as a heel. It's going very well. And AJ being traded back to SmackDown, the house that AJ Styles built, which I hope he brings that back as a phrase. But it's good. The fact that he's not on Raw anymore, he's not, Gallows and Anderson aren't there anymore, he needs to shine on his own, and SmackDown is where he shined on his own. AJ is going to be perfectly fine on SmackDown. Diab, hey Greg, you still the champ? Yup. 806 days as of today. I've been the Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion, and like I mentioned earlier, Friday is my next defense of the championship. I'm facing Paul Mead, who's one of Noah Foster's friends. That one will be a good one. Trust me. Josh, who are your top 5 favorite WWE superstars of all time? Okay. We're going WWE. Shawn Michaels, obvious number 1. This one might throw some people off. Shane McMahon. Yes, Shane is in my top 5 of all time. I love Shane McMahon. Deal with it. Sasha Banks. AJ Styles. Kurt Angle. There you go. Diaf says, Greg, we'll have to put you in a handicap match. I don't even know if that'll help, to be honest. Ken says Corbin is going to be traded to Raw. Aaron Rift hated my guess. If Corbin is traded to Raw and like takes the title off of Drew, not immediately, but like you build up Corbin as like a huge threat and then have him face Drew again. I know they just face each other on Raw, but you have to let Corbin be built up a little bit more. to face Drew because Drew's been freaking unstoppable. And then have Corbin be the one to take the title from Drew. Oh, the heat. And I'd wait till the fans are back for that one. Don't do it while there are no fans. Keep the title on Drew until you get fans back. And then give it to Corbin. Josh says no Undertaker. I like The Undertaker. Obviously, The Undertaker is one of the best of all time. But you said favorite. I do love The Undertaker. But I like the other ones more. I've always been more of a fan of their style of work. Undertaker's probably top 10, but he's not my top 5. Again, just my opinion. Dr. NXT Scorpio says Shane versus Kane feud in 2003 was good, I thought. Shane McMahon is a very underappreciated worker. Ridiculously underappreciated. And there were rumors last year of Shane McMahon actually winning the WWE Championship from Kofi Kingston. I am probably the only person in the world who is like, yes, please do that. Not because I don't like Kofi. Oh, cool. Not because I don't like Kofi, but because Shane McMahon is awesome. And everybody got sick of him with the whole best in the world thing, whatever. But, no, it's... Shane O'Mac is awesome. I would have loved to see the best in the world be the WWE champion. I'm sure I'll have a lot of people argue against me against that point, but no. Yeah, he did. Josh Mansfield says, I love Shane and his work. He may be in my top 10, not sure yet. Top 20 for sure. Yeah, Shane McMahon, the reason why I have Shane so high is because I don't think I've ever seen a bad Shane McMahon match. Like one that was just straight up, it's like, I never want to watch this Shane McMahon match again. I've never said that about one of his matches. And for somebody who is not a full-time in-ring worker, to be that good and to not have a bad match, how can you not put him in your top 5? My opinion. Again, I would have loved to have seen, even if it was only for like a month, and then maybe he drops the title to Kevin Owens or something in the middle of their feud. But like, Shane McMahon as a heel WWE champion would have been everything. And the heat that he would have gotten by beating Kofi, it would have been just so good. And maybe it would have led to like a huge feud for the New Day too. But man, missed opportunity. I would have done it. Diaf says, Shane McMahon, have we forgotten those fake potato punches? If you're judging his work on punches alone, you're not truly grasping everything Shane does. Shane may not have the best looking punches in the world, but everything else he does is golden. Chris Butler, Shane's a great stunt worker and has memorable moments, but he outlived his usefulness last year. I wouldn't even say that. I mean, he had that feud with Owens. I think he put Kevin Owens over as a babyface in the best possible way. Shane was great foil for Kevin Owens. I thought. Jermaine says, I feel that Shayna Baszler might be buried in Vince's eyes. I wouldn't be surprised that they have Asuka lose the title to Charlotte, but depending on how and when they will do that match. Nah. I don't think Charlotte beats Asuka for the title. She's already done it twice. I mean, at what point do you have Asuka stop losing to Charlotte? I feel like that win's going to Nia. Charlotte's already NXT Women's Champion. I don't even know why she's in the match. Other than to maybe protect Shayna from taking a loss. Because Charlotte can afford it. She's NXT Women's Champion. If she loses, it's fine. If Natty loses, it's fine. If Baszler were in that triple threat and she lost, wouldn't help her. Josh says, my top 5 of guys whose work I've seen: Taker, Edge, Styles, Cena, Kofi. All good choices. I'm not knocking that at all. Curtis says Shane is champ. They wouldn't have got the Fox deal. They had the Fox deal already. I just think if they want to put the title on Shane for a brief period of time, Shane doesn't need like a year-long championship reign. Just like something like as a transitional champion from Kofi to Shane to Kevin Owens. That's how I would have been fine with it. Ken says, just not knowing why so many marks crap on Corbin. He's a very good worker as a big guy. I don't know why so many people are down on Corbin. Corbin on screen is like an incredibly obnoxious person. So he's a heel, so you want to boo him. But people talking about how he's not a good worker, he's absolutely a good worker. And I still say his signature and finisher are the best in the game. Don't at me. Or at me. I don't care. I ain't scared. It's just one man's opinion. But I've always enjoyed Baron Corbin. The Lone Wolf stuff might not have been the most exciting stuff, but ever since he shaved his head and then did the King Corbin thing, he is a heat magnet. Why would you not give him a chance to run as your champion when he's generating that much heat? Or even, I don't know why you eliminate him in the first round of an Intercontinental title tournament, unless you plan on moving him to Raw. No idea. I still think Corbin should be a top champion. And you'd best believe the live stream after he becomes champion, I'm going to have like this big ass smile on my face. Curtis says, why have Charlotte and Bianca Belair is right there? Because if Bianca's not going to win that triple threat, there's no reason for her to be in the match. People are going logically booking, being like, oh yeah, well these people are on Raw, but you have to understand, if they are not going to be booked to win, will it help them? Like I said, Charlotte can take the loss, Natty can take the loss. Nia's probably going to win, so a loss won't really help her. And if Charlotte ends up winning that triple threat, it kind of buries the entire Raw Women's division. Point blank. Because it's like, nobody can beat Charlotte. Period end. Nobody's going to beat Charlotte. I see Nia beating Natty. Charlotte doesn't take the fall because Charlotte has to defend her title in your house. So Charlotte won't factor into the decision. That's what I think is going to happen. Mike Gonzalez says, my top 5 favorite are Rock, CM Punk, Kurt Angle, Edge, Batista. Again, all good choices. Josh Mansfield says he generates heat, but it's bad heat. I just hate seeing him out there. He's put on good matches, though. Do you guys remember the six-man tag where the Shield reunited and faced Corbin? Who else was it? Corbin, Lashley, and Drew, I think. It was a fantastic match. Corbin's allowed to be in fantastic matches. It's like, oh, I hate seeing him out there. But why do you hate seeing him out there? Just because he doesn't he doesn't do anything exciting. It's like, watch the King of the Ring final against Chad Gable. It was a fantastic match, and the finish to that match was awesome. Cody says Jinder is better than Corbin. No, he's not. Nia Jax versus Asuka. Why not? Why wouldn't you do Nia Jax versus Asuka? Here's the thing. If Becky would not be pregnant right now and she would still be Raw Women's Champion, I would want to see Nia Jax versus Becky because the storyline is right there. The storyline is right there for a Becky and Nia Jax match. Because of Nia, I would book it as Nia being like, you can thank me for your WrestleMania main event. Without me, there would be no women's main event at WrestleMania. Because you would have had a bunch of these leeches supporting you after I punched you in the face and knocked you out. And the rest of the story just builds itself. It's like, Becky is going to prove to Nia why she was in the main event of WrestleMania 35. And she would say, I've been the Raw Women's Champion for a year, blah, 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 blah. That story writes itself. There's so many good things that people overlook because they don't like a certain person. Put your biases aside for a second and say, wait a minute, what could you build here with Nia Jax and Becky match? Which I know, right now is not possible. But if Becky were not pregnant and she were still Raw Women's Champion, Becky versus Nia would be the next logical feud because of their history. And you could build off of that. First of all, if you don't use that part in the storyline, then fire who's ever creative right now. Because that is the genesis, pretty much the genesis of the man character becoming so wildly popular. Champion might disagree, but my favorite Corbin spot was when he slides through the ring post and hits the opponent with a lariat. The fact that he can do that so quickly is impressive. Dr. NXT Scorpio says, that's true. I think they should have vacated the title, have someone win it, and Asuka keep the briefcase for now. And Josh says, I was there at Fastlane for that match, and I'll admit it was great. Still didn't deserve to beat Angle at Mania. Yeah, well, I mean, Corbin got a good, decent series of main events out of there. And his main event matches with Seth weren't bad. Seth's main problem for his Universal Championship run was that, first of all, Brock beat him. And then his second run, he got booked into a corner against The Fiend. The fact that they went with The Fiend so quickly after SummerSlam to challenging for the Universal Championship, Seth was in a no-win situation. There was no way Seth was getting out of that without being hated. And it's the Booker's fault for doing that. And the other thing I hate, and I've mentioned this several times, I hate themed pay-per-views. Royal Rumble and Survivor Series aside. The themed pay-per-view matches, Hell in a Cell, TLC, Elimination Chamber, forcing those stipulations on matches that don't necessarily need them kills the concept of the gimmick match. Because you put Seth Rollins versus The Fiend in Hell in a Cell, a match that technically can't end by count out or disqualification. So you say it was referee stoppage, which also, quite frankly, is a BS reason to book it that way. But when you book yourself into a corner, you end up with that. If The Fiend would have beat Seth, Seth probably would have been fine. But the way they booked that match, there was no way Seth Rollins was surviving that as a babyface. Absolutely no way. Cody says, when do you see crowds being allowed to attend sporting events again? Hopefully soon. I really hope that they decide to bring back the crowds sooner rather than later. Hopefully before the end of the year, because I'd like to see college football and football with crowds again. Jermaine says, I can see them flip-flop Bayley for Charlotte due to the fact that Bayley ran through pretty much the entire SmackDown roster. Charlotte and Sasha will be the hugest rivalry in WWE and SmackDown. You have to do Bayley and Sasha first. You have to do Bayley and Sasha first. The fact that they've gone almost 5 years since their feud, you have to do Charlotte and Bayley and Sasha now. You have to do that feud now. The slow build is fine, but you need the payoff of a Sasha and Bayley epic match. Can they live up to Brooklyn? Can they live up to the Iron Man match? I really hope so. I really hope I have a new favorite Sasha and Bayley match when their feud happens. Dayev, Greg, what do you think of the Monday Night Messiah? I can't decide if I like it or not, and is he a heel or face now? He's still a heel. Seth is still a heel. I don't care for the false prophet gimmicks. I never have. I didn't like it when CM Punk was doing the straight edge society thing and he was acting like he was Jesus, basically. And I don't care for it with Rollins either. It's like you don't need to go to that route. It's uncomfortable more than anything. It's not necessary. You can find other ways to get heel heat. Curtis says, Corbin is safe. I just take him serious with his gimmick look. It's cartoonish, even though he's made it work. It does not mean I hate the man personally. You can't take him seriously. Which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying that people dislike the actual person; they just dislike the character. COVID is arguably the biggest heel of 2020. Yeah, pretty much. Curtis Butler says Hell in a Cell was a mess and picture-perfect definition of hot-shotting. If it would have been just a regular one-on-one match, they probably could have gotten away with that finish. Like disqualifying Seth Rollins. That would have been fine. But in Hell in a Cell, of all things, a year after they had a no contest in the same type of match, Hell in a Cell is a useless gimmick anymore. It is not entertaining. And the sad thing is, I would have said, okay, the gimmick is back after Sasha and Becky tore the frickin' house down. But that match is kind of forgotten now because of the epic disaster that was the main event. Sasha and Becky's Hell in a Cell match is not well remembered because of Seth and The Fiend in that dumpster fire of a finish. Ken says, why are the writers keeping Banks and Bayley as friends? Have they told the writers to not split them up like the New Day? It's just a slow build. Sasha is starting to slowly listen to people, and maybe she'll step out and attack Bayley at some point, or maybe Bayley will attack her. Because Bayley has cost Sasha matches, but Sasha's still been helping Bayley. It's eventually gonna catch up to her. Angry Popcorn TV, do you think Drake Maverick should be the WWE or Universal Champion one day as an underdog story by winning the Royal Rumble? I don't think I go that far. I think if he wins the Cruiserweight Championship, it would be a good redemption story. I don't know if I go all the way with Drake as far as him winning the WWE or Universal Championship. I just don't think, with all the big guys who win it, that it would be that believable. And that's not a knock on his talent. It's not. It's just the way he's booked. Him being the underdog to win the Cruiserweight Championship, I think is enough of a redemption story, if in fact he does become Cruiserweight Champion. DQ ending in a Hell in a Cell. Who came up with that? Like I said, as soon as they said that their match was in Hell in a Cell, I was like, either The Fiend has to win or something incredibly screwy has to happen. And something incredibly screwy happened, but it was not a good screwy. It was a bad bend me over the table screwy. It was terrible. Curtis Butler, Sasha's body language tells more than anything. Let it cook. Don't put it in a microwave. Yes, let the slow build continue. Because you don't want to hotshot that payoff. Especially with a feud that could probably be one of the best feuds in WWE in many, many years. You have to protect Sasha versus Bayley. You have to, you have to, you have to, you have to. Because that is going to be a match likely at SummerSlam, unless for some reason they drag this out for a year and have Sasha win the Rumble and then challenge Bayley after Bayley's been SmackDown Women's Champion for like 18 months. If you want to have that payoff at WrestleMania in front of a crowd, because I don't know when they're going to have crowds again. I really hope soon. I really hope it's just like, hey, just wash your hands. You don't have to social distance. Just wash your hands. Like, have some decent freaking... Just have some decency, you know? It's not that hard. Wash your hands. But I do want to see that match in front of a crowd, because I think that match deserves a crowd. Is Butler talking about Banks' facial expression? Yeah, that's exactly what he's talking about. Angry Popcorn TV. Do you think WWE is going to induct Crime Time in the 2021 Hall of Fame due to Shaq Gaspard passing? I don't know if an immediate induction will happen. Like I said, I think Shad would deserve like the Warrior Award or something. I don't know if I go full-blown and induct Crime Time, just because, I hate to say it, they never won the Tag Team Championships. They absolutely should have, but the last thing they really did in WWE was split up, and then Shad got released a couple weeks later, and then JTG held on to a job forever, and never really broke out in the singles scene. Bushwhackers are in, so why not? I mean, that's true. The NWA broadcast team blows the SmackDown team out of the water. I need to watch some NWA Power. I really do. If Becky wasn't pregnant, the storyline was Nia versus Becky at Money in the Bank and Shayna winning Money in the Bank. Everything changed when Becky got pregnant. Yeah. What happened with the 2020 Hall of Famers? they're probably waiting until SummerSlam or somewhere about so they can induct them in the Hall of Fame, because they never officially got in like the induction speeches or whatever. So they're probably waiting for a big event to get that done. So I don't know. And you guys know that I'm always going to be a big Corey Graves guy, just because I knew him when I was first starting out on the Indies. So I'm always going to be not necessarily protective of Graves, but always going to be slightly defensive of him. I never had a problem with Graves, so. I think WWE will combine the 2020 and 2021 Hall of Fame classes at a ceremony. Maybe. Or they just say that the 2020 inductees are getting inducted in 2021. Because otherwise it would be like a 8-hour Hall of Fame ceremony. I don't think anybody wants that. Stu Bennett's calm voice fits more as a personality or as a worker. I love the Bad News Barrett character. Bad News Barrett was... If Nexus Wade Barrett didn't become WWE champion, Bad News Barrett should have. Because he was that over. And it's unfortunate that he got hurt as often as he did, and that's probably what halted his main event pushes, was the fact that he was pretty injury prone. Same thing as Mr. Kennedy. But man, a Barrett WWE Championship run would have been so awesome. Big G with the $10 super chat. Hey, what's up, champ? How are things? Not too bad. Not too bad. But we finally get our first spin of the day, so I'm looking forward to it. So, Big G, let's see what you get. Hopefully you don't get another bankrupt like you did last week, but we will definitely see. Here we go. Beach Bash. Okay, so... I will actually be sending you a Beachbody sample from when Jen's and my stuff comes in. So I'll just need your address and I can send you off a sample pack of the shakeover thing. So there you go. Cool. Let's see here. Angry Popcorn. I feel like if Corey Graves never got so many concussions, he would have been WWE champion by now. I don't know if he would have went all that way to WWE champion, but he definitely, I think, would have been at least a mainstay on the roster. It'll be interesting to see if he sees if there's any way for him to get back in the ring. I'd like to see it. We also have a comment that says, Otis is not at all credible to hold that Money in the Bank briefcase. Do you see a successful cash-in, or Otis just gets screwed? I can't imagine that Otis is going to successfully cash in Money in the Bank. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I feel like somebody's going to take it from him. Like he's going to put it on the line in a match, and somebody's going to beat him for it. Whether or not that's Ziggler, I don't know. But I think I don't see Otis actually cashing in. Just an opinion. I don't know who it would be. I mean, Dolph seems like the option now just because of the feud that they're in. But, maybe that's something at some point Otis puts on the line, be like, yeah, I'll put my briefcase on the line, and then maybe Tucker comes out of nowhere and is like, hey, did you forget about me? You left me for Mandy, so I haven't been on TV, so here's this. And then Tucker and Otis have a feud, and blah, 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 blah. He costs some Money in the Bank. Or Otis tries to cash in, and Tucker prevents him from winning the match. But they haven't really had a good let's face it, the last good Money in the Bank cash-in was Seth Rollins. Sure, you had Sheamus cashing in and he won. You had Ambrose cashing in and he won. But the last solid, memorable cash-in was Seth Rollins. They haven't really done anything with Money in the Bank since then. At least the men's side. Can you guys imagine if King Corbin takes Otis's briefcase? Oh, yes. Oh, if it was Corbin, that would be awesome. And then Corbin redeems himself for the terrible Money in the Bank cash-in 3 years ago. Jeff, off topic, what games are you looking towards this coming season for the Steelers? Any of them. As long as there's football, I'm good. I have to look at the schedule again, Big G. 1 second. Steelers schedule. They play the Cowboys in the preseason. Steelers Eagles play each other in October. Oh, they play the Cowboys weekend after my birthday. That'll be fun. Yeah, probably the Steelers Cowboys game on the 8th. That'll be a good one. It really doesn't look like a bad schedule, to be honest. I really think that the Steelers, as long as Ben stays healthy, the Steelers have a good shot of making the playoffs. If they could do it any year, this would be a good year to do it. Calling in now, Otis is cashing in Money in the Bank at Mania 37 for a feel-good moment against The Fiend. If Otis, of all people, beats The Fiend, I would be incredibly amazed. And I feel like people would turn on Otis because of that. They'd be like, yeah, we want you to get Mandy, but it's like, WWE champion, okay. You know? I feel like people are going to start to turn against Otis anyway because of how fickle they are. Jermaine, the big question is not when Sasha and Bayley face each other. The major question is, what do you do with Bayley after the feud, because Sasha will become the champion and the feud will be over? Send Bayley to Raw. Realistically, I mean, what else do you do with her? Have Bayley become a top heel on Raw. Like, you don't really have a... There's no reason for Bayley to go back to being hugging Bayley anytime soon. You have the feud with Sasha. Sasha wins the championship, and then they have a couple matches. Sasha wins those two, and then maybe you move Bayley to Raw, or send Bayley back to NXT and have that Bayley run roughshod over everybody. NXT Women's Division would benefit from Bayley being down there again. Mike Gonzalez says, I could see AG taking a briefcase. That might make sense. Big G says, by the way, my other shirt finally shipped. Well, that's good. I'm glad it did. I'm still waiting on 2 of my shirts. I ordered them over a month ago. All the COVID stuff, creating all these delays is frustrating. But I may have to talk to Teespring about expediting those. It's like, man, I ordered these shirts. I'm still waiting on them. Where are they? Give me something. Because while the shipping things are frustrating, and that's not necessarily all Teespring's fault, the quality of shirts that I got are way better than Pro Wrestling Tees. Honestly. Like, the designs look so much better. Everything just looks so much better. I love Teespring shirts more than I did Pro Wrestling Tees. Pro Wrestling Tees, the fact that they really screwed up my Heinz shirt, and I think at some point I want to reorder that shirt under Teespring because I don't feel like they will screw it up. I'll wait until I get a little bit more in, but I might toss the Pro Wrestling t-shirt and just get the Teespring one. Dr. NXT Scorpio, the Bucks are going to win it all, sadly. Just because Tom Brady's there doesn't mean they're going to win. Just because Brady and Gronk are there does not mean they're going to be immediate Super Bowl champions. One player a team does not make. Jermaine says Sasha and Becky's Hell in a Cell match was the best match of Becky's title reign, and probably the best Hell in a Cell match in the past 5 years. The Usos and the New Day would like to have a word with you as far as being competing. But Sasha and Becky definitely tore it down. It was far better than Sasha and Charlotte in Hell in a Cell. Sasha and Bayley, I wish it was Sasha and Bayley in Hell in a Cell. Sasha and Becky in Hell in a Cell was fantastic. But it was definitely the best match of Becky's title reign, easily. When is Gronkowski going to defend the 24/7 championship? Give it to the Blue Meanie. I hope that somewhere in training camp, R-Truth just shows up and takes the championship from him, because Gronk is technically the longest reigning 24/7 champion, which is frustrating that Gronk has a WWE title reign record. That hurts my head. I don't know. Buddy Darius, hey Greg, hey, how you doing? Shane versus Owens was a good Hell in a Cell. Yeah, it was a good Hell in a Cell. Again, Shane McMahon is not appreciated for the work he does. And yes, he dove off the cell again because he's a lunatic. But Shane McMahon, as I said it before earlier, Shane McMahon is so underappreciated. Ken says Sasha and Charlotte had a good Hell in a Cell, but Lynch's had a superior match with Banks. Yeah. As good as Sasha and Charlotte were against each other, I feel like their Hell in a Cell was the worst match of their feud in 2016. They had a ton of stellar matches, so match quality was slightly lower for the Hell in a Cell. Because I thought their no disqualification match was great, their SummerSlam match was good, even though Charlotte looked like she was trying to kill Sasha a couple times, dropping her on her neck and stuff. But I just thought that, first of all, Sasha is the best in-ring worker they have for the females. Period. She's put on great matches with Charlotte, with Becky, with Bayley, with Alexa, with Lacey Evans, with who else? Not you. With Asuka, she had a fantastic match. Sasha can put on a great match with anybody. And people give me so much crap. It's like, oh, she ended Paige's career. It's like, stop. The whole idea of, like, holding something against somebody for the rest of their lives is ridiculous. Paige doesn't hold it against Sasha, so you shouldn't. If the person it happened to doesn't hold it against her, what right do you have to? So, no, Paige was my favorite in-ring worker. Then find a new one. Paige is retired, okay? I had to find a new one after Shawn. You didn't see me throwing a bitch fit about it. Jermaine says that's probably the main reason why Vince wants crowds at SummerSlam. The payoff for Sasha and Bayley's at SummerSlam. I mean, the fact that it's supposed to be in Boston was probably another driving factor of this. But if they might push SummerSlam back to September just so they have the crowd. Even though it'll be more like Fall Slam, but you know. Dr. NXT Scorpio, I hope if and when Sasha wins the title, I hope she has a good reign this time around. Me too. I am sick of month-long Sasha title reigns. She had it for 6 months, 5 or 6 months in NXT, It's like, that is a solid Sasha title reign. But when she lost it to Charlotte 3 times, none of them were longer than a month. And her last reign against, when she beat Alexa, was 8 days. It's like, come on! Give Sasha Banks a freaking lengthy title reign. Somebody says they're here because of Ken. Yeah, so far I've only one spin today, which is a far departure from what I had last week, but that's okay. Jeff Meacham rocks for life. Sorry I'm late, but did you watch Double or Nothing, and did you enjoy this Stadium Stampede match? Match of the year, better than Money in the Bank and the Boneyard match. I mean, the Stadium Stampede had a lot of comedic moments in it. The Matt Hardy stuff was golden. I really need to rewatch the whole thing, to be honest with you. Because it's like so fresh in my mind that it's like, man, I just need to sit down, watch it, and appreciate it for what it is. Thoughts on Surfer Sting? I mean, Surfer Sting was cool. Huge babyface. Wait, the review team said Surfer Sting was overrated? Why? Why was Surfer Sting overrated? Who said that? I don't understand who would say that. That's seriously confusing me. Bobby Lashley and Lesnar rumored for SummerSlam. That would be cool. Bobby beats Drew to set it up. I doubt Lashley wins the championship. I think they're going to keep it on Drew for a long time. But if they want to set up Lashley versus Lesnar at SummerSlam, boy, that's a match we've been waiting for, isn't it? I hope it's not just suplex, 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 suplex. Like, I hope it's like an actual fight. I'd love to see it. We've been wanting to see that since Lashley debuted years ago when Lesnar was doing MMA or football or whatever he was doing. I think he was starting his path in MMA, or maybe it was with New Japan or whatever. Adrian said that. Oh, okay. Adrian said that Surfer Sting was overrated. Why? I don't understand. I thought he was properly rated. I don't think he's overrated. Ken says have Lashley win the belt and have Lesnar challenge him. Lesnar does not need to be in a championship match every time he comes back. I would like to see Lashley and Lesnar have a match against each other, and they don't need to have the title anywhere near it. Just let them showcase what they can do. There does not need to be a title involved. James said, Greg, does the stream end now or in an hour? Well, I got a little bit of a late start today, so I'll probably be finishing up in the next like 10-15 minutes. AJ versus Jeff Hardy IC title finals. That would probably be a solid match. Again, I don't know why Corbin didn't move forward, because you have 3 baby faces and 1 heel So you figure AJ's going to beat Elias. As far as who wins between Daniel Bryan and Jeff Hardy, it'll probably be Jeff. But maybe this is a way to get the Intercontinental Championship on Styles and continue the Jeff Hardy and Sheamus feud. I don't know. Angry Popcorn TV. WWE needs Jim Cornette to be the on-air manager of Raw and SmackDown. He doesn't have to be at every show. He can be on the screen like they did back in the old days with Jack Tunney. Yeah, I don't see Cornette being on WWE TV anytime unless it's to induct somebody that he managed. Yeah, I can't imagine that he would do that. Alright, so with about 10-15 minutes to go in the stream, I want to do my social media plugs again so you guys know what the deal is. YouTube.com/GregCherryBrand. This is the No DQ YouTube channel. I have my own YouTube channel. And on my YouTube channel, you can see the newest episodes of Wrestling Trivia Challenge. There are 3 up currently. Episode 4 drops this Friday at 6 o'clock Eastern Time on the Greg Cherry Brand YouTube channel. Of course, you can follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, and Facebook at Greg Cherry Brand right here. All unified. It's not confusing at all. And of course, teespring.com/stores/Greg Cherry Brand. You can get a shirt similar to this one. I don't know if I have this one available in the yellow. I do have it back up on the store. I don't know if I have this particular one. And I'll tell you what. I'm gonna take a look. If you guys want to super chat while I'm looking at this, and then I can get your spins. I'll look back at the shirt because I'm not sure. I have so many shirts up on my store. I'm not sure what all I have still. Tough and Worthy. Oh, I changed the color of it. That's what I do. I do have a similar design to it. Right here, the Tough and Worthy shirts. Can you see it? There it is. Might not be able to see the font because of the color difference. Hold on. You can also get it in blue. Can you see it? There it is. Tough and Worthy. It looks better on the shirt than it does on the screen, but it's fine. But I also, if you don't like the light colors, show me it. You can always get the dark one. The dark one's cool. I think the dark one is on the way for me. Maybe. I don't know. I might not have ordered the Tough and Worthy alternate one. Now I need to look. I didn't order that one. Huh. Well, back. Huh. Well, you know. Davi says shirts aren't worth it. Why not? So not for over $20. Hey, I think my shirts are worth it. I think the designs are cool. I think the shirts are incredibly comfortable. They're way better than the pro wrestling t-shirts. Way better. And plus the whole thing with supporting people with buying their shirts is to support people creating more content. I mean, it's basically the same as anybody who does a Patreon or like any other subscription service like that. Not that the shirts are a subscription service, but hey, for somebody who is not currently working like I am, the shirts help pay for me to be able to live. So there's that. That's my opinion. Cherry, what do the initials on the goat shirt mean? It's on the back of the shirt. GOAT, the greatest of all time, and then you have the WTC C or ATLRWTCCIH. So it's greatest and the longest reigning Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion in history of all time, and it says that on the back, or at least it should. Jeff Meacham rocks for life. Scroll up and see your question. Yeah, where we go. Gronk was the worst pickup by WWE this year. Lasted 2 weeks just to go to the Buccos. What was the point of signing him? Just to bring some name value to WWE. But he was never in front of a crowd. So it was really a pointless signing. And maybe it was to get Mojo over, but you haven't seen Mojo on TV pretty much at all since WrestleMania. Gronk left to go play football again. There really wasn't a point to Gronkowski being there at all. I think I addressed that, Ken, what the acronym means. Yeah, the ATL WTC CIH means, or ATLR WTC CIH means, and the longest reigning Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion in history. Because that's been a common catchphrase. And like I said, if you got that shirt, which I think you did, I think that's the one you won, and I sent to you, the entire description of what that stands for is on the back of the shirt. Jeff Meacham rocks for life. Jinder the Thrones Drew at SummerSlam. Heath Slater special guest ref. I hope Heath takes a couple years, gets himself jacked, and comes back and wins the championship at WrestleMania 40. Yeah! Heath Slater for champion. 3MB in the Hall of Fame because all of them would be champion. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, that's what I'm really hoping for. I doubt that Slater comes back anytime soon. I mean, he's probably fine just like chilling and relaxing and not being on the road as much. I would be. I wouldn't mind some time off. But he'll put the work in, and once indie wrestling starts back up, it'll be fun. James said then it happens and everyone shits on it. Probably. Probably because fans are like, yeah, we got what we want. Oh, this is not what we wanted. And it's like, get over it. I did see Kurt Angle's going to referee the Matt Riddle match with Timothy Thatcher. I think Angle is on like a per appearance thing that he can be called whenever he's needed. So, good for Angle for still getting that WWE money. I guess they don't have to pay him to be like a backstage agent or whatever Angle was doing before, but they can just pay him to like show up on the shows when they need him. So it's definitely a weird dynamic that they have with people that they've released and are calling back or whatever. Would Orange Cassidy gimmick work in NXT, let alone WWE? I think Orange Cassidy right now works in AEW. I feel like he would continue to be like a comedy person in WWE, but he would have to be used as such. Like, he can still work a good match. but the goofiness of the gimmick, like, I think right now works in AEW. So keep him there for right now. I don't need to see him in NXT or WWE. Leave him in AEW because he's fine there. And it's more entertaining because I think the announcers and the fans, like, they all accept the gimmick for what it is. And it just works better. There's Adrian with the 20 euro super chats. Hey Greg, what was your favorite WWE promo? Mine was Taker versus Brock, Unforgiven 02. Mine is actually same year, the Elimination Chamber, Survivor Series 02. One of the best videos ever, and Saliva just killing it with Always. That was my favorite. So Adrian gets 2 spins of the wheel. So let's see if we can provide some entertainment here. Entrance. So think of an entrance, Adrian. Actually, think of 2. You got 2 entrances. So there you go. 2 entrances, and I think, unless I continue to get more super chats, that'll close out the stream, the 2 entrances for Adrian. So let me know which ones you want, brother. Elimination Chamber promos, ads were very good. Yeah, the first Elimination Chamber promo at Survivor Series 02, which I need to go back and watch on the network if Saliva's still a part of that, but I hope they are. I don't know if I've watched it on the network recently. Yeah, Saliva had a big part in the rise of, like, WWE because they had so many musical acts for WWE. They created a theme for WrestleMania, a couple different WrestleManias actually. Batista's theme, created a theme for Jericho. Saliva was just the theme to ECW in its later years. They did so much good stuff. CM Punk, it's clobbering time. Okay. Funny thing, when I was working the indies, the group of guys I was with came out to King of My World by Saliva. It was just funny because we were called Marks after. And I was like, yeah, kind of, but, like, it's a good song. You can't, like, it's such a good song. Saliva had such good music. I love listening to it. All right, CM Punk and Batista. Okay, here we go. All right, let me, I'm going to hope that's up decently enough. Because I'm going to be kneeling down. No, I didn't realize how in the way that was. Has that always been that in the way? Okay. There we go. Gotta go through ads first. It's clobbering time! Best in the world! speaking of saliva, alright. Had the camera a little off for both of those, but it's okay. Alright. Oh, 20 euros. No spins required. Buy yourself a pint instead. Well, I actually don't drink, Adrian, so guess what? I'm going to give you the spins anyway. You say they're not required, but I want to do it, because I'm nuts. Here you go. Entrance. Here we go. See? See what you get? You get a shirt off my Teespring store. So there you go. See, Adrian? It pays off. So you get, let me know what shirt you want from my Teespring store, and I will get that to you. And the address it's going to also, and I will get that to you. And also what entrance you want. What? What did I do? Oh, cool. So many things. Go away. So yeah, Adrian, let me know what entrance you want, and then Scott Steiner. Cool. I can do that. And then hit me up on DMs on Greg Cherry Brand, probably Instagram, and I will, and let me know what shirt you want, your address and all that stuff, and I'll get that sent off to you. Alright, so Alexa, make Man Cave red. There we go. My email is gregoryjcherry@gmail.com, so you can email me there. And I will hit up Scott Steiner's entrance. So had to turn it to red because you got to have the sirens and stuff. So here we go. Perfect. So there you go. So there we go with the stream. I might as well just leave the thing the same color here if I'm finishing up. But there you go. Another Greg Cherry stream in the books. Of course, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Greg Cherry Brand. YouTube.com/Greg Cherry Brand for the Wrestling Trivia Challenge and for future stuff I may put up there. And of course, teespring.com/stores/Greg Cherry Brand for all your Greg Cherry merch and for merch of, quite frankly, a whole bunch of other people. So go check those out. I will be back next weekend with another live stream. Unless, of course, Adrian gives me another spin, in which case, as a spin for Ken, I get to do this. So Adrian calls my bluff, because I got to honor all super chats. So I'm not done quite yet. Here we go. Here's the spin for Ken. And it's an entrance. Ken, tell me, what do you want for your entrance? Get me to stay on just a little bit longer. It's alright. So, what entrance do you want, Ken? And while I'm waiting for that, I might as well finish my plugs. teespring.com/store/Greg Cherry Brand for all your merch. Freebirds. Wow, you're going old school. Okay. I can do Michael Hayes. That's fine. Alright, so I'll turn it back to gray. Alexa, make Man Cave gray. There we go. Cool. I don't know if I have anything flashy to wear, but I'll try. I do have to say that's the first time I've ever been asked to do the Freebirds entrance, but thank you, Adrian, for the super chats. I appreciate all of them. I look forward to seeing which shirt of mine you choose. And unless I'm going to stay on just a minute longer, I'm going to finish my plugs again. But we'll see. We'll see how long you guys keep me on, but it's okay. I don't mind doing it. I really don't. So, of course, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Greg Cherry Brand, YouTube.com/Greg Cherry Brand. New episode of Wrestling Trivia Challenge goes up Friday. Teespring.com/store/Greg Cherry Brand for all your merch. And until then, I will see you guys next weekend. Well, I won't tie. Well, I'll tell you what, if you do and I miss it, I'll get it first thing next episode. So, I will see you guys next time.